Let's demystify HVAC controls, and for this one we're going to focus on safety interlocks. One thing that does make custom controls a little bit tricky is that if you don't have access to the front end, or you don't know how to read whatever points are laid out for you on the front end, you may not know what is keeping a piece of equipment from turning on, and that could drive you to start jumping things out, because I see it a lot. For these particular interlocks, we're going to be focusing on the RIB 6, which is a RIB relay control board that has 6 relays you can use for your safety interlocks. This right here is an example of what they typically look like. All of this on the bottom are your inputs, and these are your relay outputs, which are just dry contacts for your controller to use. That part does not concern you if you're not a controls tech. All this does is sends a signal to my controller so that I know which of these safeties opened up. Seeing it this way may make a little bit more sense. Let's say, for example, you have a low temperature alarm right here. If my low temperature opens right here, the light will go on and this relay up here will open up or close depending on the way they're set up. What you are really going to be concerned with is your master relay. This is the one that goes out to the piece of equipment that you're trying to control. Let's say a VFD. What this means is that if any of these safeties over here opens up, regardless of what they do to this, they will open that contact. Any of those safeties, any combination of those safeties, or any of those safeties by themselves will open that contact and turn off your piece of equipment. That's your real safety right there. So let's say that you know for sure your fire alarm does not go through here. So there's no life and safety. Let's say the only things going through here are your high static, your low static, and your low ambient. If that is your case, you cannot bypass your high static, you cannot bypass your low static because you could destroy your ductwork. But your low ambient, if you live in Florida, might not be that big a deal. These relays come with those little dip switches right here, R1 and R2, that's for relay 1 and relay 2, which can bypass that safety. We could bypass that low ambient alarm by pushing that little dip switch on, and that way the board knows to ignore whatever that input is, and that won't open up your master relay, and that way you can get your piece of equipment going without having to bypass all of your safeties and potentially putting lives in danger. The reason I wanted to talk about this is because I've come across it a lot where people disable the safety at the VFD, or they jump it at the VFD thinking that finding those safeties is going to be this massive undertaking that will take hours upon hours. But many times you'll find that that is how it's wired, especially on newer jobs. Those relay 6s are amazing. I actually hadn't taken my time to understand them because they were not that big a deal to me. It was pretty intuitive, but I realized that understanding them made my life easier. And I feel like a lot of us do that. If you can get by without understanding things, sometimes we do that. So just take the time, read the literature. They're super useful. I even think they could be used more than they really are. But that is one masterful way we interlock safeties, and it's something to keep an eye out for. Good luck and happy HVACing like always.